evening. I'm Duncan McHugh, and this is The National. A mother found murdered, her young son abducted. A manhunt that spanned 2 provinces comes to a dramatic close. More than 24 injured, but no fatalities as a bomb goes off in the London subway.
Whoever constructed this bomb, thankfully, didn't know what they were doing.
Earth's eye on Saturn closes for good.
We won't watch Cassini burn up. What we'll watch it do is slowly turn away from us.
Bob McDonald on the mysteries it revealed. Plus, hard-nosed bargaining over a new arena for Calgary.
They're not interested in our deal, and we're not interested in theirs.
Anytime an Amber Alert is issued, time is precious. Yesterday, Quebec police launched a desperate search for a 6-year-old boy and his father. Tips and sightings poured in, sending officers on an extensive manhunt across hundreds of kilometers. Then, late this afternoon, 4 words changed everything. Little Luca is safe. Alison Northcott has the dramatic story for us tonight.
For nearly 24 hours, investigators tried to track down 6-year-old Luca Fredette and his father, Hugo Fredette. Police issued an Amber Alert after the boy's mother, Véronique Barbe, was found dead in her home.
Time counts, so every second counts at this point, and we're asking people to be vigilant.
Early this morning, the truck Fredette had been driving was found abandoned at this highway rest stop. Police say the father may have been spotted in several different areas in Quebec and in Ontario, sometimes in places hundreds of kilometers apart and with several different vehicles. Police say Hugo Fredette was spotted in different places in Quebec, then Ontario, sometimes hundreds of kilometers apart, and driving a different vehicle.
That's hope in a way, because they're still moving. We can see that Hugo Fredette is still alive.
People who know the father pleaded with him to turn himself in. It's hard to believe this is happening, said family friend Yannick Chouinard. He said Luca's parents had a troubled relationship. In a strange coincidence, Hugo Fredette had once worked on a documentary about another missing Quebec child, 9-year-old Cédrica Provencher, who disappeared in 2007. Her remains were found in 2015. Cédrica's grandfather says he met Fredette a few times. Henri Provencher says when discussing Cédrica, Fredette told him if something like that ever happened to his son, he wouldn't know how he'd react. Late today, Ontario Provincial Police closed in on Fredette west of Ottawa, intercepting the vehicle he was driving, pursuing him on foot, and finally arresting him.
We can confirm that little Luca is safe, so we have an amazing news.
But tonight, police are searching for another missing person, a 71-year-old man linked to the vehicle Hugo Fredette was intercepted in. Police say they fear for the man's safety. As for Luca, all police will say is that he is uninjured and safe after his ordeal. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Lachute, Quebec.
Omer Cotter was in an Edmonton court today seeking changes to his bail conditions. A judge denied the former Guantanamo detainee's request for unsupervised visits with his sister. She has in the past expressed support for Al-Qaeda. Travel restrictions imposed on the 30-year-old will also remain in place, but Cotter did win greater access to the internet. Police in Quebec City have arrested 2 people in connection with the burning of a Muslim leader's car. A vehicle belonging to the president of the Quebec Islamic Cultural Centre was set on fire on August 6th. It happened just 36 hours after the city approved a new Muslim cemetery. Fear is once again in the hearts and minds of some people in Britain today. The UK is back at its highest threat level after an improvised bomb attack struck London's subway this morning. Close to 30 people were injured, and ISIS says one of its affiliates is responsible. Thomas Daigle has more from London.
Oh, is that bag's on fire?
Inside an empty subway car, the cause of plenty of panic. A homemade bomb still burning after it blew up in the morning rush hour.
It was loud enough to make me wonder what the bang was, and I looked round and this wall of fire was just coming towards us.
We just all ran for our lives and we didn't know why.
The injured were taken away, most with what police called flash burns. Others hurt in the crush of people running out the station.
Like literally, this was 5 minutes after that happened.
Alani Shakumbi was headed to work on that very train. He recorded harrowing moments while leaving in a hurry.
I do not know how I'm going to recover from this, you know. My work is quite far. That requires me to take public transport, you know. You just feel like is this place safe? You know, is London safe?
The so-called bucket bomb had its wires hanging out and a timer reportedly installed as well, though it doesn't seem to have gone off as planned.
Whoever constructed this bomb, thankfully, didn't know what they were doing and didn't have any significant support.
Police used sniffer dogs to ensure no other explosive was planted nearby. They began a manhunt, but wouldn't say who they're after. For hours, police have kept this neighborhood around the train station cordoned off, even telling people who live inside this zone they can't come in for their own safety. It's become a tragically familiar theme here. Britain already suffered 4 other major terror attacks that killed 36 people this year.
The public will see more armed police on the transport network and on our streets, providing extra protection.
The terror threat's been raised to its highest level. The implication, another attack may be imminent. So Londoners will again see this: troops deployed to important sites.
What this means to the public over the weekend is at transport hubs, at events and in crowded places, they will see these extra resources.
In a city again confronted with terror, the police work again goes on well into the night. Thomas Dagler, CBC News, London.
Donald Trump sounded off on Twitter about the attack, saying it was done by, quote, a loser terrorist. But something else he said was refuted by the British Prime Minister. Trump wrote, "These are sick and demented people who were in the sights of Scotland Yard. Trouble is, authorities never said that," which put an awkward question before Theresa May.
Does he know something we don't?
I never think it's helpful for anybody to speculate on what is an ongoing investigation.
The Metropolitan Police also called Trump's comment pure speculation. Coming up, New Brunswick sets aside a special day for the girl with cancer who launched a movement of kindness.
I joked to my mom, my day is before Terry Fox's day.
Her incredible story of strength and inspiration. Plus, Facebook falls for Montreal's intelligence. A judge in St. Louis has found a white former police officer not guilty in the shooting death of a black man. And all day, it's led to protests and scenes like this. But only some of the crowd got violent with riot police. So far, there have been more than a dozen arrests. Police have asked all demonstrators to clear the area. In 2011, Jason Stockley tried to arrest Lamar Smith on drug charges. Smith led police on a chase, and Stockley shot him 5 times. He claimed self-defense and that Smith was reaching for a gun. Prosecutors alleged Stockley planted a gun on Smith's body. More angry reaction today to North Korea's latest missile launch, including a rhetorical counterstrike from U.S. President Donald Trump. He made a big point of underlining America's military strength, suggesting once again that its full fury could be unleashed. But as Ellen Morrow reports, tough talk doesn't necessarily translate into clear action.
Sirens sounded over Japan this morning, warning people to take cover as a North Korean missile flew over the country.
It is, of course, a grave threat to our own security, but it's not just that. It's a real threat to the peace and security of the world as a whole.
Speaking to soldiers, President Trump seemed unfazed by the latest test.
I am more confident than ever that our options in addressing this threat are both effective and overwhelming.
So far, the U.S. has pushed for UN sanctions, the most recent passed on Monday, taking aim at North Korean exports and its access to oil.
We have strangled their economic situation at this point. That's going to take a little bit of time, but it has already started to take effect.
But each fresh wave of diplomatic pressure has been met with more provocation. And if it continues, the U.S. again today threatened a military response.
There is a military option. Now, it's not what we would prefer to do.
That's because the military option comes with the risk of disaster. And so this analyst expects sanctions efforts to continue, even if Kim Jong-un seems unmoved.
We did this during the Cold War, when basically we cut the Soviet Union and the Eastern Bloc out of the world's economy, essentially cut them off the map. We can do this again with North Korea.
But North Korea is saying that despite the sanctions, it will push ahead with its nuclear weapons program. That signals more weapons tests, and with each one, tensions rise, as does the risk of dangerous miscalculation. Ellen Morrow, CBC News, Washington.
So what does North Korea's only real ally think about the regime stirring things up yet again? China has not had an easy time defending its troublesome neighbor lately. And as Satra Petrusik reports, Beijing may have finally had enough.
China condemned North Korea's latest missile test, accusing it of violating Security Council resolutions and raising tensions. Beijing's increasingly annoyed and frustrated by Pyongyang's actions. That's part of the reason it reluctantly agreed to tougher UN sanctions this week, putting a cap on oil exports to North Korea and cracking down on financial transactions through Chinese banks. There are still plenty of reports of companies here doing business with North Korea, and China remains its biggest trading partner. But Beijing bristles at any suggestion from Washington that it's not doing enough. China will implement Security Council resolutions comprehensively and completely, said a government spokeswoman today. Its worry is that tightening sanctions too much will cripple the North Korean economy, maybe topple the regime, and bring chaos to China's borders. That's why it refused U.S. demands for a total oil embargo at the UN. Now, it may seem far-fetched, but Chinese analysts even say Beijing is concerned about possible military retaliation from its longtime ally, North Korea. Just days after North Korea tested its most powerful nuclear device yet, the Chinese military staged a mock exercise, pretending there was a surprise attack from the Korean peninsula. It's never done that before. Now Beijing says it's up to the two countries at the center of this dispute, North Korea and the United States, to sit down and work it out. It says negotiations, direct negotiations, are the only approach, but only after both sides agree to stop any military exercises or tests. And so far, neither side has agreed to do that. Sasha Petrusik, CBC News, Beijing.
The Canadian government has announced $2.5 million for Bangladesh as it struggles to handle an influx of refugees from Myanmar. In just over 2 weeks, nearly 400,000 Rohingya, a minority group in Myanmar, have fled over the border, straining resources in Bangladesh. The UN calls the situation, quote, a textbook example of ethnic cleansing. Canada's Minister of International Development says the funding will help provide life-saving assistance. This week, we've been taking you inside Syria as part of a trip arranged by the Russian military, which is trying to show off the progress Syria has made with its help. Specifically how ISIS is being driven out of the country. Our Moscow correspondent Chris Brown sent us this report from a place few journalists have visited.
Well, we're right in the middle of Syria. Russia's military has taken us far out into the desert, at least a 4-hour trip by convoy, and they brought us to a recently liberated town called Akrabat and showed us something quite remarkable. It is an ISIS tank factory, is what they're telling us. This is a place they discovered 2 weeks ago when this village was won back from ISIS, and here you can see the wrecks of many old tanks, including what they're telling us about this one here, this tank which doesn't have a turret, they're saying was a suicide tank, and it could be packed full of explosives and then set to go off. The driver would set it to go off, and it could create an enormous explosion around 300 meters or so. They believe as many as 35 ISIS people were working in this factory. Many of the tank bodies themselves are actually old Russian tanks, probably either captured or stolen from the Syrian army. They're suggesting that this is a very major find for them. As many as 49 ISIS tanks were destroyed in the battle to free this community. We've been traveling around Syria for the past week with the Russian military. They've been trying to demonstrate the various ways that they're involved in Syria from a humanitarian point of view, to dealing with the restoration of former landmarks. But today is really a focus on the military side of things. We can still, in fact, hear mortar shells going off. The ISIS troops are only about 2 kilometers away, but according to the Russians, this was a very big find for them. Chris Brown, CBC News in Utterbat, Syria.
Today marks the end of an era for space scientists and enthusiasts, the death of the Cassini spacecraft.
And liftoff of the Cassini spacecraft on a billion-mile trek to Saturn.
Launched 20 years ago, Cassini revolutionized our understanding of the solar system's second largest planet. The spacecraft, with its robotic lander, discovered alien lakes, oceans, dunes, storms, 6 entire moons that had never been seen before. This morning, on the final orbit, Cassini plunged into Saturn itself.
The signal from the spacecraft is gone.
Silence at the end of a captivating journey. CBC Science correspondent Bob McDonald has a closer connection to Cassini than most. He saw it before its launch on an assembly line in Pasadena, California. And then 2 decades later, he watched as NASA lost its signal forever. Bob joins me now. Good to have you here.
Hi, Duncan.
What was going through your mind when NASA lost its radio signal for the first time in 20 years?
Yeah, well, it was kind of bittersweet. You know, it's always sad to see these robots meet their demise, but it was time. The robot had gone farther than they expected. It was way beyond its expiry date, and it was running out of fuel. They didn't want to leave it drifting in the Saturn system because there was a chance it could hit one of those moons, and the moons may harbor life, and we didn't want to contaminate it. So they drove it into the atmosphere to dispose of it permanently. So, yeah, end of an era.
It's been orbiting Saturn for 13 years now. What were Cassini's most important discoveries?
Well, there's too many to mention, but Saturn's known for its rings, so I thought I'd build you a model of Saturn's rings right here in the studio. I have a bowl of water. I'm just going to swirl the water around a little bit with a spoon, and I have some pepper. And when I put pepper on top of the water, it will stay on the surface, and we get all these little particles floating around in the water. These are the ring particles. They're snowballs. They're about the size of your head, the size of your fist, the size of a house, and there's Saturn in the middle. So that's sort of what it's like, except they extend much, much farther out. What they found with Cassini was looking at these rings, they're extremely organized, and there are little tiny moonlets within them that are guiding these particles around, and that's the same kind of process that happened in our early solar system when the Earth was being formed. We came from a big cloud of debris, of dust and dirt and particles, and some of us became planets. So we actually got an insight into our own beginning by looking at this. And if we look at it from the edge, look at how thin they are. They're very, very thin, only 10 meters wide, or thick, but as wide as the distance between the Earth and the Moon. It's a remarkable, remarkable system.
Okay, so Cassini's gone now, though, for good. One of the things, incredible things that it raised was that the possibility that there might be life on another planet. What's next for scientists? That must be very enticing.
It's very exciting. 2 of the moons have conditions. Titan has rain, it has lakes, it has rivers, but it's methane that's doing that, not water, because it's so cold there. And the conditions on Titan, one scientist said, it's like the primitive Earth in deep freeze. It's what the Earth used to be like before life happened here, before there was oxygen in our atmosphere. So that's very interesting, whether or not life emerged or will emerge in the future. And then this other moon, Enceladus, an ice moon with an ocean inside it, a saltwater ocean. And maybe there are hot thermal vents coming out of it like at the bottom of our ocean with life there. We don't know. That's why we need to go back to Saturn and look at those moons. If we go back, they'll be the target, not Saturn itself, because of these incredible possibilities. But don't expect that until about the 2030s.
Wow. Thank you so much. Fascinating as always.
Okay, Duncan.
Straight ahead, lots of people sign forms that say, do not resuscitate. But when the moment of truth comes, they may not be obeyed.
Going back to school, it's about catching up, letting go, and growing up.
How do you feel today? Happy. Because it's the first day of school and I'm nervous.
One thing is universal this first day. Shiny, clean faces, new school outfits.
First day they look so good. You should come tomorrow when they're back to normal.
For some, the trek is like going into a prison yard, complete with barbed wire.
It's a morning ritual that begins every school day, but there was a difference today.
Moms and dads kept a watchful eye from the back of the grade 1 room as their kids settled into desks and got to know the new teacher. If you thought it was just the kids who get first day jitters, think again.
I have butterflies, all the excitement, who's going to be their teacher and who their new little friends are going to be in that.
And how do the kids feel about being back?
I love it. I hate it.
Gee, it's good to get back to school, isn't it?
No.
No? Why?
I don't like school.
What don't you like about school? Let's put it that way.
The work.
You don't like the work. Eh? How about the teachers?
Some of them are okay.
What about the others?
I was up in the classroom doing work. I got all my work right. And then then recess time, then we were playing, then we made my teacher a picture.
Everything is new the first day of school. Where you sit and how everything works.
It says bonjour. What do you say? Bonjour. Je m'appelle Madame
It's a day filled with new information.
Can you say that?
It's a terribly exciting day
Can you say
for
this
most.
part? Madame Ramponnet.
Don't you like anything about school?
Maybe recess, yeah.
You know, every year they're a little smarter and a little more worldly, but you still sometimes yearn for them still to be that little kid.
See you later, pal.
More evidence today of a real estate slowdown. Canadian home sales fell almost 10% last month compared to a year earlier, though the average price of a home still managed to climb a bit. And after record sales last year, the Canadian Real Estate Association is projecting a drop for both 2017 and 2018. Most analysts chalk it up to measures in Ontario and BC designed to slow down the red-hot markets. Health Canada has now set a date for its ban on trans fats. The main commercial source of trans fats, partially hydrogenated oils, will be banned exactly a year from today. That means any food containing PHOs cannot be legally sold in Canada. Consuming trans fats raises bad cholesterol levels, increasing the risk of heart disease. Rib cracking CPR, intubation, ventilation. Medical professionals sometimes turn to extreme measures to save a life. Canadians don't have to submit to those interventions. They can sign a Do Not Resuscitate order, or DNR. But as Diana Swain found, a flaw in the system means there's no guarantee those wishes will be honored. And that's led one Ontario woman to take extreme measures of her own.
Shanaza Zarbahi is in good health, but planning ahead, and has decided she doesn't want to be resuscitated if her heart stops. Still, she's become so concerned her wishes won't be respected, she's taken drastic steps to make sure first responders see her government-issued Do Not Resuscitate number.
Do you feel this is what you have to do?
I don't have any choice. The ministry has given me no choices. I do that every day.
Who are going to see this and they're going to think you're crazy.
No, it's I want my dignity. I have no self-respect left. I'm literally...
Ontario's Ministry of Health issued her a DNRC, or Do Not Resuscitate confirmation form. It goes by various names in other provinces, but any Canadian can request one. And it's meant to ensure that if an emergency happens at home or even walking down the sidewalk, a person won't get medical intervention they don't want. Azarbahi's doctor understands why his patient has resorted to writing on her chest. He requested the Ministry of Health form, each with its unique serial number and requiring a doctor's signature. But when he tried to mail a copy back to the ministry, he learned they didn't want it. The Ontario government isn't keeping track of who has a form or even how many doctors have signed one.
My expectation was that there was going to be some sort of registry, especially the paramedics and the firefighters would have access to.
In fact, Azarbahi started inquiring and couldn't even get a consistent answer about where to post the form so first responders would see it.
First was fridge, then the front door, then inside the front door, then tattoo, then write it across your chest, carry it around your neck.
And the issues don't end with Ontario. In Quebec, there's a registry, but it's not clear if first responders have quick access to it. Yukon and British Columbia instruct people to put medical directives on the fridge. Same thing in Alberta, where first responders know to look for this green folder. But people have to take the forms with them if they leave the house, which isn't always practical. Paramedics say the confusion in those critical first moments can be compounded if someone is visiting from another province when their heart stops.
A good example is here in Ontario is that if you have a medical directive that comes from Alberta, it may not apply.
Tired of ink on her chest, but still fearful no one will know she doesn't want to be resuscitated, Azarbahi now wears the form around her neck.
I'm just asking for dignity, respect. In my last final moments, I want to go in peace. Is that too much to ask?
The Paramedic Association of Canada and other end-of-life care advocates that we talked to say what we found shows the need for a national strategy so that no matter where Canadians are, their wishes will be respected when the time comes. Diana Swain, CBC News, Toronto.
Just ahead, New Brunswick honors a teenage girl who's worked wonders.
It's a lot easier to teach kindness than it is to teach hate.
Her message of kindness has reached countless thousands, inspired by her strength as she grapples with a cancer diagnosis. Plus, a potential weapon against fake news and online trolls. Let's check the day's business numbers. The TSX edged up slightly. The dollar increased 0.1 cent. In New York, the Dow gained 64 points, and the price of oil remained unchanged.
One night last week, a baby was born in Britain, a little girl. Her birth has created controversy all around the world because she was conceived in a test tube. It gives hope to thousands of childless couples. It has also raised serious ethical questions about interfering with nature.
To many doctors, the birth is simply a natural development of modern medicine. But there are those who say that doctors are defying God.
I'm not in favor of it. I am very worried that she might grow up to be abnormal.
Science seems to be a thing of the future. We have to live for the science, and it looks like our future is going to be dictated by the science.
Will they start also make their own race type of thing, like taking genes and things from certain people and saying we want this type of person, we want an intelligent person, we want them to look like this?
Here, making her first guest appearance on television is baby Louise and her parents, John and Leslie Brown.
This is certainly a very happy story. Louise is a beautiful baby. But I know there has been criticism. Does this bother you at all? How do you handle that?
There's only a very small minority who is criticizing.
In some ways, she's like any other 10-year-old girl getting ready for a birthday party. Excited, a little giddy perhaps at all the attention. What makes her different is not that she is 10, it's that she exists at all.
The thing that I find is so wonderful is that she is very intelligent. She has been told all about test tube babies. Her sister has. The family is wonderful.
Louise and her 6-year-old sister Natalie are both in vitro babies.
The world's first test tube baby celebrated her 25th birthday today. Despite the significance of her birth, Louise Brown doesn't feel special.
It doesn't even enter my head apart from things like this.
Since her birth, more than 1 million babies worldwide have been born using in vitro fertilization.
Star Wars has run at this one theater, the Odeon, now for 31 weeks. For the first 19 weeks, it ran 5 times a day, and since then, 4 times a day.
I watch certain parts of it over again.
Do you find it boring now that you've seen so many times?
Not really, no.
How many times have you seen Star Wars?
3. 7. This is my 8th time.
6 times.
Why have you come back 6 times?
Because it's such a good show.
The Return of the Jedi. The movie premiered today across North America. A privileged few got to see it last night. And in the Ottawa audience was 11-year-old Justin Trudeau.
Vader's on that ship. Now, don't get jittery, Luke. There are a lot of command ships.
Justin, How did you like the movie?
Great. It was better than The Empire Strikes Back and Star Wars. At least I think so.
Was it what you expected?
No, more. Much more.
Now, 20 years later, many of those original Star Wars fans are gearing themselves up for this weekend's re-release.
Sort of like a generation thing. You know, I had all the figures and stuff like that, and I mean, he wants all the figures and things like that now as well. But I tell you, I wish I had the lightsaber.
Theaters across Toronto were putting on the final touches for the Phantom Menace, and Star Wars fans seem more than ready.
Well, I've waited for this since, 1983, so a really long time, but I've officially been here for 2 weeks, since the 5th of May, and I've logged about 100 hours in the line.
In a matter of moments, fans will get what they have been waiting weeks for.
This is 15 years. This is the whole youth. My whole past is building up to this.
But as the doors are about to open, a new era begins for Star Wars fans. One that may be more about the wait and anticipation than the actual movie.
The difference with this Star Wars is
it's not just my day, it's a day to celebrate the people that we can be and the people that we should be.
Tomorrow, New Brunswick celebrates the first annual Becca Schofield Day. The third Sunday of every September is now set aside for special acts of kindness. It's to honor a teenage girl who did something incredible. While struggling with a severe form of cancer, she launched an online campaign that spread like wildfire. She's now inspired countless people to act in selfless charity, to do good for the sake of a better world. We first told you her story in April. Here's Tom Murphy once again with his look at Becca's mission.
Your empty hands in mine.
All I'm going to say is Rebecca Schofield.
It started as a simple wish, so very simple. Just do an act of kindness. Pay it forward.
We really like Becca's dream. Let's complete it as a team.
I heard a story about this young woman in Riverview, New Brunswick.
There's been a lot of shares on Facebook, pretty much everywhere in the community.
For the benefit of and raise $2,100.
I'm going to donate $200.
We are donating $200 today to all of our guests.
I just got back from paying it forward here at the local Tim Hortons in Windsor.
I'm about to go deliver a check for $400.
And I did this because Becca told me to.
Becca told me to.
Because Becca told us to. It's grown into a kind of movement no one could have imagined. All because of this girl, Becca Schofield.
What have you learned about people in all of this?
We've always known that people have this kindness within them, but I've learned that it's a lot easier than you would think for people to embrace the message, and it's a lot easier to teach kindness than it is to teach hate.
Becca is 17 years old. She has brain cancer. The call for kindness was a way Becca wanted people to help her celebrate her last round of radiation treatment. Soon, it became a sensation with its own hashtag, Becca told me to. Even the Prime Minister took note of Becca's kindness movement in a tweet. And when Becca's wish to take a train to Quebec City and later Toronto for a Leafs game came true recently, people throughout small-town New Brunswick lined the tracks to celebrate her and her simple idea, just be kind. The brain cancer zaps her energy, makes it difficult to walk without support from her mother, Anne. Most outings, Becca needs a wheelchair.
It's no big deal.
Just a few weeks ago, she was a patient in this Moncton hospital, suffering with severe dehydration caused by vomiting.
I guess I should put my glasses on.
See that bucket? It never leaves her side.
Jeff. Jeff is one of the owners of the Go-Gees that did the fundraising. Here you go. I think it'll fit you, hey? We've had a few fundraisers from Becca told me to. This one is the largest so far.
On this day, Becca is also on her own mission of kindness. A local business donated its profits for a day. Now she's paying it forward to the very unit where she's been a patient. And this is the ward where Becca spends far too much time.
We thought we'd come show her to you when she's nice and healthy.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
Everybody knows her here.
You look great. You do look good.
The train ride, there was a woman, where was it at?
I think it was after Bathurst. There was a woman, before she got off the train, she wanted to give it to Rebecca. It was her mother's.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It was her mother's, and she really wanted to give it to Rebecca.
Oh, so. I think that's so special.
Kindness and positivity, they're a choice, and it's not a choice you make once and then it just comes easily. It's a choice you make every day. And to know that these people are making that choice daily, over and over, and they're doing it because I have inspired them to do that, it's fantastic.
It's pretty good medicine, isn't it?
Yeah.
And here's the thing about an act of kindness. Becca has learned it not only makes both the recipient and the giver feel good, but often that act of kindness comes full circle. Like on this day, Becca is at the New Brunswick Legislature. An honored guest of the Speaker of the House with her mother, Father Darren, and Sister Gabrielle.
Please stand for the arrival of Mr. Speaker. S'il vous plaît, mettez-vous la main pour le privilège du président.
Pray be seated. Members, I'm incredibly honored today to welcome a New Brunswicker who has inspired all of us. Rebecca Schofield's generosity of spirit is an example for and of all New Brunswickers. Please join me, members, in welcoming Becca and her loved ones to this legislative assembly.
Chris Collins lost his own 13-year-old son to cancer. In Becca, he sees his son's courage.
She has a huge heart, and her love for people, her love for life, her strong social conscience, these are all things that I think are very special about her.
I liked the fact that it was basically we go in and get compliments until we leave.
I have a teenage daughter, and I'm trying to imagine what it's like as a parent going through this. How can you help me understand?
No, because I can't understand it either. Everybody has their own way of dealing with their journey, and this is like I keep referring to, like, this is a conscious effort that we have done, that this is how we're going to deal with it. You just focus on the good days and you just breathe through the bad ones.
Even the Irvings, one of the most powerful families in Canada, has been touched by Becca's movement.
I'll say official how I wanted to get inside.
Staff here at their Moncton headquarters raised the most money ever in a casual day fundraiser, $3,000. The company topped it up to $5,000.
Pleasure. I'm joined by an inspiring young woman, Rebecca Schofield. Let's show that spirit. That's right. Thank you for reminding us that one simple act of kindness can make a huge, huge difference.
I just wanted to say thank you. This is awesome for so many reasons, but mainly because it means that my parents can still stay off of work and be home with me in the time that I have.
You see, Becca is dying. Her brain tumors are inoperable. This kind, giving girl has been given just months to live.
Are you scared? What are you feeling?
And I try not to let it sink in. Sometimes I think about it a little too much, and I do get scared. It's about a fear of the unknown. I get scared about dying. I get scared about living. I get scared about people hearing this story and thinking negatively of me. I get scared of so many things, but like I say, positivity is a choice.
When Becca found out last Christmas that she didn't have long to live, she put together a bucket list, things she wants to do before she dies. What's on a 17-year-old's bucket list? Well, remember that train ride to Toronto? That was on her bucket list. So was a night with the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Just another day. Just another day in the life.
And one of the most difficult to arrange, yet one of the most treasured wishes, a final skate with her sister Gabrielle.
What is it you like about skating?
I don't know, just like gliding. It makes me feel free.
But as with all things with Becca, this will be no ordinary skate. She'll take to the ice with her favorite junior hockey players from the Moncton Wildcats.
Yeah, like it's fading away, but how about your name right here?
I heard, thank you.
It's kind of fading away, but...
Yeah, that means a lot, thank you.
And they've arranged for this special device to help this teenager who can barely walk feel the freedom of skating once more.
This is not what skating used to be like. No.
Years ago, Becca and her sister Gabrielle played ringette, which is why she so desperately wanted to skate with her again. But before she knew it, the skate turned into an impromptu ringette game with the Wildcats.
You sexy cheer. I think they have both goals in the same net.
Another day of making memories and checking another thing off the bucket list.
They're trying to trip me.
It wasn't me. What are you talking about? It was Tebow.
I think that calls for a penalty.
But there's more. The Wildcats have renamed their Community Spirit Award after Becca. Not only will she get to attend the award ceremony as a special guest, she will present the trophy named in her honor. Proof that one act of kindness really does lead to another. Tom Murphy, CBC News, Moncton.
Becca, who's now turned 18, spoke to CBC News about her special day in New Brunswick tomorrow. Here's some of what she had to say.
As a child, I remember Terry Fox Day and always just, I'm going to sound a little bad here, but always thinking how boring it was and, oh, I don't want to run and just being, you know, like a little kid, I wanted to be lazy. I didn't want to do it. But as I grew older, like I understood the importance behind it more and more. And now I'm at the point in my life where he was an amazing man, and the fact that he did what he did in the face of his illness, that's part of what's kept me strong through mine. And to know that I'm making an impact, anything remotely like that, it's life-changing. I can't explain it, how good it feels. And I joked to my mom, my day is before Terry Fox's day.
That was Becca Schofield. Straight ahead, artificial intelligence in Montreal sure got Facebook's attention.
Leonard Cohen is a Canadian poet, novelist, and despite an air of frail vulnerability, he's a very confident young man.
I feel free when I'm singing.
Do you make up your own songs?
I always thought of myself as a singer and kind of got sidetracked into literature.
Can you sing?
Well, I think that if the song is really good and it's your own, then what comes out is music.
But now another stranger seems to want you to ignore his dreams as though they were the burden of another.
Oh, yes. Well, I'd feel pretty lousy if I were praised by a lot of the people that have come down pretty heavy on me.
Cannot stand what I become. You much prefer the gentleman I was before.
Well, I always felt that my work was more eccentric, and that if it touched the mainstream from time to time, I would be lucky.
I remember you well in the Chelsea Hotel. You were famous, your heart was a legend.
All right, it is Mr. Leonard Cohen!
You know, it's only in a country like this that I could get the male vocalist of the year.
On the polka dots and his partner found and his partner and his hell the day when the fiddler stopped.
Well, I don't know, people have called me pessimistic, you know, but I think the pessimist is someone who's waiting for it to rain, you know, and I feel completely soaked to the skin, so.
It's clothes and
Sometimes I see myself in the midst of it, or I catch sight of myself in the mirror, you know, this old guy in his underwear, you know, kind of trying to find the rhyme for orange, and, you know, playing the same phrase on his guitar 15, 20, 90 times, trying to get it right. There's something absurd about that, but, you know, the nature of work is repetition.
And do you come up with a rhyme for orange?
Door hinge.
to the end of love. Dance with me to the end of love.
So it should come as no surprise that more tech giants like Facebook are choosing our cities as their home away from home.
And the latest home away from home for Facebook, Montreal. Along with the federal and provincial governments, the social network is investing millions to try and make that city a hub for artificial intelligence research. Our tech reporter, Matthew Braga, joins me now. Welcome.
Hey, Duncan.
So why Montreal?
So this city is a hotbed for AI research. It's been for some time, and I think Facebook would be silly not to try and get involved, right? Because we've already got Google and Microsoft, for example, both spending their own millions to establish hubs in these cities, really trying to take advantage of the very small pool of talent that exists, right? There's not a lot of people who are able to do the really complex work that these companies need, and so they're all trying to kind of flock to these hubs, right, where these particular skill sets exist. We actually spoke to Mike Schrepfer, who's Facebook's Chief Technology Officer, and he told us a little bit more.
When we looked at new sites and places to go, we found two things in Montreal. One is it actually has quite a bit of history in AI with people like Yoshua Bengio, who along with Jan LeCun and Jeff Hinton were some of the pioneers of our current revolution in AI. And a conscious investment by the Canadian national and regional governments to invest in AI.
Yeah, and Joelle Pineau, she is a professor at McGill University, and she was actually picked to lead this lab that Facebook is setting up there. She'll be splitting her time between Facebook and also, back at McGill as well, really trying to kind of continue to sort of train that future generation that I think Facebook and those other companies are looking for.
Okay, well, Facebook, we've seen, has some serious challenges. I mean, they're looking at fake news, malicious advertising, privacy, online harassment. Is artificial intelligence going to fix or change any of that?
Yeah, so artificial intelligence, I mean, Facebook has said in the past that, Facebook could not exist today without AI. It really does permeate everything they do. And so, when we were talking with Mike Schrepfer earlier, he was sidestepping a few questions about sort of fake news and the election and sort of transparency around how its advertising and its algorithms kind of work. He did talk a little bit about the role that AI is already playing, right, in helping to understand sort of the context and the sentiment behind what's posted on the site, right, which is a big part of sort of moderating things like hateful speech and racist speech when that sort of appears. And so he told us a little bit more about that.
There's kind of what we call intent detection or natural language processing. We're trying to understand, is this a joke, or is this a comment, or is this harassing in some form? And I think we're using techniques like that now to help certainly get things like spam off the site and help moderate whenever we can. But the challenge here is the technology is still, as exciting as it is, far behind what we'd like to be able to do, and that's part of where Joelle and the research labs and others come in to help us build systems that can do a better job of understanding the detailed nuance that's often encapsulated in language as people talk and discuss things online.
And I mean, Facebook's not the only one working on this. You've also got Google and Twitter who are really trying to solve, I think, what they see both as a challenge and an opportunity, which is why Schrepfer in our conversation earlier actually called sort of this thing they're working on and attempting to understand language and nuance as sort of a big frontier of AI.
Well, thank you for sharing us with the new frontier.
Thanks, Duncan.
CBC's technology reporter, Matthew Braga. Coming up, Calgary Mayor Naheed Nenshi is running for re-election. He's taken a hard stand on a proposed new arena for the Flames.
Tonight on The National, East Germany throws open its borders to the West.
Future generations may very well point to this night and say, that was the night the Cold War really ended.
West Germans have climbed up in a section of the wall. They're standing about 10 deep, looking over on the other side at soldiers on the other side. They're cheering, they're taking photographs, they're popping champagne corks. It's a party scene that's going to go on the whole evening.
It seemed like all of East Berlin took the day off work to go and see how the other half lives. From morning till night, they streamed through the checkpoints into the western sector. 24 hours ago, heavily guarded, now wide open. All were given a rousing welcome.
For East Berliners by the thousands, this was their first heady taste of true freedom. The tears of joy mingled with looks of disbelief, as though the enormity of the moment was so overwhelming, they weren't really sure what to make of it all.
In sections big and small, the Berlin Wall is coming down. To those watching, it was a history-making act of demolition. Some German adults who remember Berlin before the wall found the experience emotionally wrenching. As a student, this East German was taught that the wall was meant to keep out evil capitalists. Today, he came to watch people punch holes in it.
I wanted to see all with my own eyes, and now I saw it, and it's fantastic.
Good evening from West Berlin. I'm Peter Mansbridge. That's the Brandenburg Gate.
Visitors from the east who poured in through the historic Potsdamer Platz received a welcome that brought many to tears. It seemed fitting that Western police and Eastern soldiers should link arms to hold back the cheering crowds. On the ground, a performing bear joined the party.
The wall openings are becoming a daily tradition here now, as East and West agree there have to be more routes to handle the tens of thousands of East Berliners who are crossing every hour. The vast majority just coming to take a look, do a little shopping, and then head back. And East German soldiers, who used to look pretty stone-faced, now look pretty tame with their flowers and smiles. The Germany of tomorrow is being shaped today in this Berlin autumn unlike any we've ever seen.
Framed for murder. I know William Murdoch. Murdoch didn't kill anyone. Locked behind bars. You've hurt her. You should have protected me. Your word. I'll kill you. Everyone close to Murdoch is a target. Who lives? Who dies? Where is she? Don't miss the shocking Murdoch premiere. Monday, September 25th on CBC.
This hour has 22 minutes. New season starts September 26th at 8:30 on CBC.
The fight over a new arena for the Calgary Flames is heating up. The team and the city are dropping the gloves over money, each accusing the other of trying to offload a giant tab. And with an election coming up, things could get tricky for Mayor Naheed Nenshi. Carolyn Dunn has the latest.
The blows on the ice seem nothing compared to the scrap over a new arena for the Calgary Flames playing out off ice over who will pay to replace the aging Saddledome. In this campaign video, Calgary's Mayor Naheed Nenshi discusses his vision. A three-way funding split between the Flames, ticket holders and the city, $185 million apiece.
We're willing to make an investment. We're not willing to give away the farm.
The city says it would also provide infrastructure to the arena and development around it. But Nenshi wants the arena to pay property taxes like every other business.
There is profit here, and our argument is that the city needs to somehow share in the upside if we're going to share in the cost.
Nenshi is trying to make a fair arena deal happen without alienating divided voters.
I think if he really cares about his city, that he will make the right decision and give us a new arena.
I'm okay with it on the principle, but would not like to pay for it personally.
I'm totally against this idea that if they play, they can make their own arena.
Today, Flames president Ken King argued the city plan pushes all the costs back onto the team.
They're not interested in our deal, and we're not interested in theirs.
And earlier this week, NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman issued this veiled threat if that doesn't change.
I envision without a new building, there will be consequences that everybody's going to have to deal with.
Translation, we could always move the team.
It's difficult to make a threat when you're not going to go to a better place if you do move.
Dan Mason is a professor of sports management at the University of Alberta. He says there's no way the Flames will be moved unless negotiations are hijacked by the personalities involved.
The only uncertainty here is the egos of the parties that are involved in the negotiation.
As for Nenshi, with a municipal vote coming up, this has political stakes, just as he's trying to launch a positive campaign.
He kind of had the wind taken out of his sails when Ken King came forward and said, "We're not talking arena anymore, we're walking away."
It's too early to tell if a new arena deal could become a ballot question for Naheed Nenshi in the election. But clearly he's trying hard to look like the captain of the winning team. Carolyn Dunn, CBC News, Calgary.
Before we go, a quick recap of our top stories.
Suddenly I heard a big bang and I turned left and I saw the fireball surge toward my side.
A homemade bomb rattled the London Tube in what authorities describe as a terrorist attack. 29 people suffered burns or other injuries. Authorities are on the hunt for suspects and have raised Britain's national threat level to its highest, critical. And a frantic police search across 2 provinces ended in relief. 6-year-old Luca Fredette was found safe in Griffith, Ontario. His father, Ugo, was arrested. Luca's mother was found yesterday dead in her home in St. Eustache. Police are calling her death a homicide. And that's the National for this Friday night. For news at any hour, you can always go to cbcnews.ca. I'm Duncan McHugh, Jimmy Gwitch. Thanks for watching.